Hello there and welcome to Chicago Tonight. I'm Brandis Friedman.
And I'm Paris Schutz. Here's what we're looking at tonight.
We're going to start setting up shop here and we're going to protest.
Woodlawn residents are pushing back as migrants are moved into a vacant area school.
Our goal is $35 million. We've now raised $28.5 million. We have $6.5 million to go.
A major donation brings rooftop pastor Corey Brooks's dream of a community center in Woodlawn closer to reality.
Happy Groundhog Day.
Woodstock Willie sees his shadow and hundreds were there to watch.
I feel like we're all in this room together, so let's experience the same things, in your own way.
And Chicago's singer-songwriter Manasseh sings the gospel of psychedelic soul.
Now some of today's top stories. A group of Evanstonians sound off on plans for a new Northwestern University football stadium. Officials from the university joined community members in touting the benefits of building the state-of-the-art $800 million new Ryan Field. The residents say they're on board because of the overall benefit to businesses, especially minority-owned businesses around town. A separate group of opponents say they need to know more about potential adverse effects on noise, crowds, etc. before the plan goes through. Northwestern officials say they believe support outweighs opposition.
This is more than just a football stadium. This is about the future of our city. We've intended to build this as a community asset where people from Isabella, the borderline with Matt, all the way to Howard Street, the borderline with Chicago, can benefit from this stadium.
The homeless community in Chicago is getting support from the federal government in the form of a $60 million grant. The money goes to the City of Chicago, the Continuum of Care Coalition, and the nonprofit All Chicago.
We will have more robust outreach teams with immediate access to triage or stabilization housing, and for some people of experience in unsheltered homelessness, this triage housing with enhanced support services is a crucial and necessary step toward permanent housing.
U.S. Housing and Urban Development Secretary Marcia Fudge came to Chicago today to present Mayor Lori Lightfoot with the big $60 million check, the largest grant being given out in this round of funding, which totals $315 million. The Chicago Continuum of Care, which coordinates the city's response to homelessness, will use the funds to implement a plan to reduce unsheltered homelessness and provide rapid access to housing and supportive services.
As many as 17,000 more Chicago residents are now eligible to apply for the city's Chicago Resiliency Fund. The city announced today that up to 7,000 domestic workers and 10,000 undocumented residents could receive a one-time relief payment of $500. The program is intended to support those who couldn't access the federal relief payments made during the COVID-19 pandemic. Eligible applicants must have a household income at or below 300% of the federal poverty level, about $69,000 for a family of three.
Another ruling goes against the recently passed ban on so-called assault weapons. Former GOP gubernatorial candidate Darren Bailey is one of the 1,000 plaintiffs in the case that won a temporary restraining order against the law. A downstate judge put the brakes on the law for now because he found the case might violate the Equal Protection Clause of the Illinois Constitution. That's the same ruling handed down by a judge in a similar case. Both cases were brought by former Attorney General candidate Tom DeVore. The initial case was partially upheld by an appellate court and is on its way to the state Supreme Court.
And if you still haven't heard, how is that possible? Chicagoans are heading to the polls in 26 days. If you're figuring out who to vote for mayor and for city council, head on over to WTTW News 2023 Voter Guide. And there you can find candidate profiles, responses to localized candidate questionnaires, and of course, links to our ongoing political coverage. We have a forum on Tuesday, everybody. It's all at WTTW.com/voterguide.
So you want to visit that website to stay on top of it and know
Absolutely.
what that forum is. Coming up in the program, we go to Woodstock for Groundhog Day.
But first, migrants are bused to Woodlawn, and community reaction will be right after this.
Chicago Tonight is made possible in part by Alexandra and John Nichols, the Jim and Kay Mabey family, the Polk Brothers Foundation, and the support of these donors.
Migrants bused from Texas have begun moving from an undisclosed location in the city to the Woodlawn community. Despite months of pushback from residents, the now emergency shelter is housing about 100 migrants, with more to come. Chicago Tonight producer Acacia Hernandez has reaction from the community.
Tensions are running high in front of the former Wadsworth Elementary School. This as dozens of migrants are sent to temporarily call the shelter home for the next 2 years.
What they did, they went behind all our backs and first help out the people that need it here. Why help out the countries out there? You need to work here first.
Woodlawn resident Luis Cardona stood in front of a CTA bus transporting the asylum seekers in an attempt to stop it from getting through.
We made the bus back up. They say, hey, you just gotta move. He goes, no, we're not moving. Do what you just gotta do. They kept telling us they're gonna lock you up. Do what you just gotta do.
Cardona is calling for more transparency and communication from the city regarding a safety plan for people living in the area. Others are saying resources are better suited to go back to the community.
They could have did something for the people in the neighborhood, because we need a lot of stuff around here. If you go down 63rd Street, you see all the vacant lots. And they putting these wooden boards up.
There's a lot of other things that they could be doing with these schools. We have teenagers, young women that need places to stay with their kids. They're sleeping in hospitals. They're sleeping on the L. They're sleeping in the police station. This is unacceptable.
The city did not respond to a WTTW news request for comment today, but a spokesperson for the mayor's office previously stated, as a welcoming city, we must live our values and meet this moment to receive asylum seekers with dignity and respect. We know this is the right thing to do. The city of Chicago will continue to engage with local Woodlawn leaders and community residents. The city has since hosted meetings with Woodlawn residents in an attempt to address concerns, saying this shelter is meant to alleviate crowding at other locations. Longtime resident James Poole says many residents remain unhappy.
We're going to protest out here every day. That's what we're going to do until they move them, because we're not happy.
For Chicago Tonight, I'm Acacia Hernandez.
The city is hosting another meeting with Woodlawn residents on February 16th to talk about the temporary shelter. You can find more information on our website. Up next, Pastor Corey Brooks with the latest on his long-anticipated community center. Stay with us.
Where have we been? Where are we at? Where are we going?
Essentially to be able to help anyone and everyone in the community, whether that's through academic support, social emotional learning, or just providing a safe space for youth to be able to be there.
This is the fabric of the neighborhood. You need to take care of the neighborhood. It's an ecosystem.
Southside pastor Corey Brooks brought attention to his Woodlawn community and his cause when he camped out on his rooftop for almost a year to raise funds for a new community center. Now it's starting to pay off. He just got an $8 million donation from the McCormick Foundation. That was announced yesterday. And a total of $28 million has been raised so far. And joining us now to talk about all this is Pastor Corey Brooks, founder and senior pastor of New Beginnings Church and founder and CEO of Project Hood Communities Development Corporation. Pastor Brooks, welcome back to Chicago Tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Yeah, good to see you again. So before we talk about this big donation that you got from McCormick Foundation, remind us all your vision for this community center for Project Hood, because you've been at this for a while.
Yeah, I've been at it for a while. I'm really excited that we're going to build a center that's going to really be transformational in helping our community. It's a place where we're going to deal with entrepreneurship, teaching financial literacy. I'm really excited that we're focusing on the trades, where we're going to be teaching construction, electrical, automotive, HVAC, and then we have trauma counseling, we have an urgent health care, we have 2 full court gyms, state-of-the-art theater, and Olympic-sized swimming pool, 3 restaurants, Overweigh's ice cream, wood grain pizza, the burger joint. So it's a lot going on, and it's going to be a fabulous place.
And a TV studio, if I'm not mistaken.
Definitely a TV studio. So we're going to do some media stuff. We're going to teach children and young people and adults as well how to be behind the cameras, not just in front of the cameras, how to edit, how to make production, and how to make some good social media outposts.
Obviously, those are exciting things to learn.
Absolutely.
So who is eligible to come and take advantage of these services?
Anybody in Chicago. Our facility is going to be welcoming to everyone in Chicago. Specifically, we're going to target those who are right in our area of Woodlawn. But the south side of Chicago, the west side of Chicago, we invite everyone to be a part of it because it's just not a Woodlawn thing. It's not just a south side of Chicago thing, but it's something that we want to do for the whole city.
You've tried to raise attention for this project for many years by doing things like camping out on the rooftop of your building. Why is this so important in Woodlawn and the South Side in general, do you believe?
Well, we need a model for what can work. You know, Chicago is a beautiful place, and so many times that it gets looked at as the place where everything is happening that is not good for America and not good for the city. But we believe on the South Side of Chicago, we can help create a model that says, hey, we're able to help solve the issues of poverty. We're here to help solve the issues of crime, and we have a product that works. We have something that we believe that if we use it properly, we can take it to other places as well. So we're about creating a model, and we think it's going to be a tremendous blessing to the entire city of Chicago.
So this could be a template for more centers like this.
Absolutely.
We just saw some pictures of you camping out on your roof in the winter. What was this experience like? You were up there pretty much every night for a year.
Yeah, you know, I tell people all the time that during the daytime, it was okay. You know, you have visitors, you have people coming and going, it's pretty lively. But at night, that's when you get by yourself, that's when it's cold, that's when you're really thinking about all the things that you're trying to accomplish. You're wondering, are you crazy? Should you be here? Should you do that? But overall, it was a wonderful experience, and I would not have traded it for anything in the world.
And we mentioned you've raised about $20.5 million right now. You've got $8 million that was just announced from the McCormick Foundation.
Yes.
So how much more do you need?
So we need $6.5 million, and I'm believing that we're going to get it. Our goal is to build a center debt-free. And the reason why we want to build it debt-free is because we don't want to have any hindrances on our programs. We want to invest in people, not in building so much. And so we want to keep all of our focus on helping as many people as we possibly can. So $6.5 million to go, and I believe we're going to reach our goal.
Well, it's clearly you're over the hump here on your way there. You started this, you were telling me, 11 years ago, the campaign to do this. Has this taken longer than you'd hoped it would?
Yeah, it has. You know, it's been a big part of my life, and I'm ready to move on to the next thing. I already know what that is. We're going to start a school for young black boys who come from single-parent households and who live below the poverty line. So I got to get this center built so that I can start this school so that we can help even more people. So it's taken a long time, but it's been worth it. You know, like I said, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I know my purpose, I know my calling, and I'm trying to walk in that.
And clearly no rest for you, so you're going from one massive gargantuan project to the next.
Rest when you die.
Rest when you die, there you go. So you're saying you're gonna have shovels in the ground in April, so this is all ready to go, and when's it going to be built?
It's going to be built starting April. We're going to start digging up the dirt and putting down the steel and the concrete, and the crane tower is going up, and it's going to take 18 months. And so L&R and Related Midwest are building it for us. We have a wonderful architect, Megan Moyer, who's designed a wonderful building. Trammell Crow and Jerry and those guys are walking alongside us to make it happen. So we've assembled a great all-star team of Chicagoans to help build this facility.
And the way you describe it, I mean, is this all privately financed and privately done? Is there any public financing, any association with CPS or the city to kind of help out?
Yeah, we haven't received any money from CPS or the city. All of these funds have been given from some tremendous donors from across America. We've had over 20,000 new donors from all across America to donate. And then, of course, Ken Griffin donated $5 million. And then our largest gift that we just received from the McCormick Foundation for the naming rights. So the actual name of the center is going to be the Robert R. McCormick Leadership and Economic Opportunity Center.
Okay, so $8 million in naming rights there. So I have to ask you, because Woodlawn is in the news today. We've talked about it because of the school, and migrants are now arriving. You put up a tweet critical of using schools like this for migrants, given the needs of your community. Are you worried that it kind of pits communities in need against each other? I mean, is there room to help both?
There should be room to help both, but I'm very concerned, you know, especially when a facility like ours, we needed $6.5 million to finish. And I just got an email right before I came on with you about it. They spent $6.9 million to renovate that school, and that concerns me. But I also understand, being a pastor, being a Christian, the need to help people and the need to help immigrants. So I'm very much for helping immigrants, but I'm also very much for doing for our community first, for those tax-paying citizens who suffer every single day from the violence and the poverty that is going on in our city. So to add people to that situation, I don't think it's fair.
So it's an issue of allocation of resources here.
Absolutely.
I also want to ask you, we also in the news a mayoral election, in case no one's been paying attention here. You know, you've been involved with public officials, governors, mayors in the past. Is there a person that you're getting behind here in this race?
I am going to eventually, you know, endorse someone. And I will say, you know, I believe, regardless of what people say, the mayor is very intelligent. And I'm sure she has thought out a plan to win her race for months now. And
do you think she has a good shot?
I think she has a really good shot. Regardless of what people may think, she's really smart. She has a great team. And I think whoever wins the race, we have to do a better job at getting behind them to fix the problems in the city of Chicago. There's too much fighting and too much going against one another. As Chicagoans, we have to do a better job of coming together to solve the issues of our city, to make it the beautiful city that it is in America.
Certainly infighting doesn't help that cause in the end.
Yeah.
All right, Pastor Brooks, congratulations to you. Best of luck in building the Project Hood, the McCormick Center,
Yes.
now that we know.
The McCormick Center.
All right, well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And up next, a trip to Woodstock, Illinois for Groundhog Day. But first, we take a look at the weather.
It's February 2nd, Groundhog Day. Pennsylvania may have Punxsutawney Phil, but here in northern Illinois, we have our own weather forecasting rodent, Woodstock Willie. Made famous by the Groundhog Day movie filmed in Woodstock, which came out about 30 years ago. Our Amanda Venicky woke up bright and early this morning to get to that McHenry County city in time. Woodstock is located about 60 miles northwest of Chicago, and it's the focus of this week's edition of our In Your Neighborhood series.
Okay, campers, rise and shine. The band may be playing the Pennsylvania polka, just like in the movie Groundhog Day, in which Bill Murray plays a cranky, acerbic, self-involved weather forecaster.
Once a year, the eyes of the nation turn to this tiny hamlet in western
Let me interrupt there. Not in Pennsylvania, rather in northwest suburban Chicago.
Okay, so the movie was filmed here. They built Gobbler's Knob there. Really? Bill Murray and Andy McDowell do a dance scene up here. The snowball fight's over there.
Where people now come from all over the world to celebrate Groundhog Day, where the eponymous movie was filmed.
Spain. I think I heard France. Estonia.
City officials make an exception to the rules for the occasion. After all, Willie's the star of the show, albeit a reluctant one. Don't blame Willie, who, by the way, is a she.
She's in cyber hibernation, so she don't like getting out.
This year, Willie is the bearer of blustery bad news.
And stated clearly in Groundhogese, I definitely see a shadow.
In the movie, Murray's character was skeptical of the whole thing. On that account, maybe he wasn't all wrong, given the morning's 19-degree chill.
So I'm from Florida, and you people are nuts.
But the sense of celebration, community, and nostalgia helped to make the movie iconic. Screenwriter Danny Rubin says Woodstock stood in as the necessary contrast to Murray's grump and was key to his eventual de-Scrooging.
That story wouldn't have worked unless there was another story, which is about a community of people who choose to come out at dawn in the dead center of winter. But they do it to be goofy and funny and silly and to be appreciative of the lives that they have.
Of course, it takes a lot of repeating the same day for the main character to get there. You sure as heck fire remember the scenes where Bill Murray's character repeatedly steps in a puddle.
Watch out for that first step, it's a doozy.
But the journey also raises deep existential questions.
What would you do if you were stuck in one place and every day was exactly the same and nothing that you did mattered?
What would you do? No deadlines, no consequences. Maybe this question's easier.
If you had to relive a day of your life, what day would it be?
Maybe my 16th birthday.
A vacation day with my kids and my wife.
I would definitely like to live my high school days over and over again.
I would just be playing Guitar Hero with my kids all day.
I don't want to repeat the same day over and over again. I'd want to get out of that loop the way Bill Murray wanted to get out of that loop.
The community of Woodstock, at least, is on board with repeating Groundhog Day.
This is a celebration that is unique to our town, and we will continue this tradition over and over and over and over.
And just as Murray's weatherman gets a happy ending,
I saw nobody was up on the gazebo, and I said, I want to dance with you. And as we're dancing, I kissed her, and I says, I want deja vu every day the rest of my life with my beautiful wife.
he says that will never get old, even when the weather does.
Sorry, folks. 6 more weeks of winter. 2, 1. This is one time where television really fails to capture the true excitement of a large squirrel
predicting the weather. And I, for one, am grateful to be here. In Woodstock, Illinois, I'm Amanda Vinicky for Chicago Tonight.
Woodstock Groundhog Days festivities continue through the weekend. There's a dinner dance tomorrow, a pub crawl and bingo Saturday, and Sunday, Woodstock hosts a pancake breakfast, movie showing, and a walking tour. Local shops sell memorabilia, including mugs, cookie cutters, groundhog hats, and a puzzle featuring the town square. Of course, if you want to know more about what a real groundhog is like, of course, check out Patty Wetley's investigation on our website. Ferris?
Brandis, they're really milking that movie for all it's worth. But I was out there a couple of years ago, actually 11 years ago at this point. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun festival. So congratulations, Amanda. All right, the singer-songwriter and native Southsider Manasseh credits the gospel soundtrack of his childhood for creating a foundation for his sprawling, kaleidoscopic sound. In studio with his band, The Fam, Manasseh talks about how the threads of family and friends weave into the textures and layers of his psychedelic soul.
You know, it's psychedelic soul. It's a blend of everything that I've come in contact with that's inspired me. Growing up in a house where, before my mother passed, it was primarily gospel. Nothing wrong with that. Grew up in church. I'm a church boy at heart. You know, I'm pretty sure you can hear that in the music. Or it's those moments, you know, that are into the music. Singing with my mom and my little brother in the kitchen, and then sneaking and listening to R&B music at school. I'm a reflection of all of my influences. After my mom passed, moving in with my family, they played everything from Snoop Dogg to Bonnie Raitt. And that's a wide range. So I'm very, very grateful and super duper fortunate to, you know, be in the company of masterminds, because I know that everybody's literally going to put their best foot forward. They don't exactly know where I was, you know, creating the music, but everybody resonates with it so much that they're willing to dive into it in such a personal way, in their own way. And we bring all that together and it makes something new every single time. The song is called Fall in Mud, and it is from the Monochromatic Dream release. It's a song about accountability. Oh my God. Spending your money in places you shouldn't. And, you know, just looking at it from just a broad point of view, like, okay, you know yourself. Why are you doing this? Every time a chance is presented to share, you know, the experience of the music, when the mic is off and we've done our last run, Brandon's hit the last cymbal for the night, you know, for the set, or Ramon hits the last keys. When we resolve it, we want to feel a little freer than we did when we started. I just want everybody to feel loved, and I want everybody to feel like, you know, lighter than they did when they came to the show, because I definitely feel that way.
Manasseh's EP called Variations V1 I'll Be drops on February 28th. And you'll find more on that on our website.
And that is our show for this Thursday night. Don't forget to stay connected with us by signing up for our daily briefing. And you can get Chicago Tonight streamed on Facebook, YouTube, and our website, WTTW.com/news.
You can also get the show via podcast and the PBS video app. And please join us tomorrow night live at 7 for the Weekend Review. And then at 10 o'clock, don't forget that, 10 o'clock for Chicago Tonight. And now for all of us here at Chicago Tonight, I'm Paris Schutz.
And I'm Brandis Friedman. Thanks for watching. Stay healthy and safe, and have a good night.
Closed captioning is made possible by Robert A. Clifford and Clifford Law Offices, a proud sponsor of diversity, equity, and inclusion-focused free continuing legal education for lawyers throughout the region.
What do you want, Nelson? One guess. The victim is Susie Colebrook. I'm afraid she's been murdered.
Give me what you got.
All right, then. So, we have a bullet wound to the heart.
More holes in this coroner's report than Swiss cheese.
Murder cover-up at Briar Lane? Someone wanted this woman dead. We need to find out why.
Sunday on PBS. All new episodes of Miss Scarlet and the Duke.
Have you heard of Sir Reginald Denning? Here's the size of his estate.
Then All Creatures Great and Small on Masterpiece.
Sometimes they can deteriorate quite quickly.
It won't come to that, Jenny.
And Vienna Blood.
This is how you operate, is it? Rub shoulders with all the lords and ladies?
New episodes of Miss Scarlet and